we are different. We are created from different areas. We have different colors. We have different skins, different shapes, and so on. But do you know what these light bulbs and people share in common? Indeed, these light bulbs and people, no matter the shape, no matter the size, no matter anything, they share one energy. They have each and every one current running through each and every bulb. This is the energy that I'm talking about. On the size of people, energy is what we are. It doesn't discriminate between a Muslim or a non-Muslim. It doesn't discriminate between an atheist or whether you're what or what. It doesn't discriminate between income. For example, take an example, your friend dies on an operating bed. Everyone will say, so and so has died. Without catering for the gender, because the gender is around. The class is around and each and everything, but we say so and so died. Why? Because we know that energy or that person was more than being a gender or in classism and so on. It was the current energy or the strong energy running through each and every person on this planet. Don't you believe in your energy? Well, as I stand on gender equality, from the side of government, gender equality is an essential factor in a country's security and stability. When at all we give equality to all genders, most especially the women, as well as the men, we shall promote peace in the country. Did you know that a country's strength is not measured by how we treat the wealthy, but it's measured on how we treat its weakest members? My beloved brothers and sisters, I would love to bring to your attention that most of our political leaders, they always come, they have made it normal to come with proclamations and empty promises, promising to produce something very different each and every time. It has been normal for them to dismiss the Constitution and declaration. But if at all we could come to the best of all nations, we could realize, please and please, allow me take you to the best of the nations. I'm not talking about US, I'm not talking about Russia or Ukraine. I'm talking about the imagination. Imagine a situation where all genders could sit down, where we could sit on the same table and we resolve issues, whereby we won't discriminate between a male or a female. We shall create a more harmonious society. For example, on the side of the government, please look at my fellow members. The way we are dressed, we are not discriminating in terms of gender. Thank you so much for listening. As I conclude, please, it's the dark time, but it's only in the darkness that we see the stars. Thank you so much.
Which problem are you trying to solve?
Well, thank you so much. My key issues will unblock the doors of freedom that have been blocked, and that is supporting gender equality.
Is that a problem you're trying to solve?
Of course, I'm solving a problem of racism, classism, and sexism. Thank you.
Okay. Is there gender equality in Uganda currently?
Well, as the ruling government, we are standing to fight for the voiceless so that we promote gender equality. Thank you.
So there is gender inequality in Uganda?
Of course, in the presence of people like you who support classism, gender inequality will always be, but we won't allow that to be.
Okay, is gender inequality the greatest challenge that is affecting men and women, for example, in family conflicts?
My beloved brothers, I'm wondering why you're focusing on only gender equality. Are you on our side? Because you're on the side of income and class. Why are you more on our side? Please, first organize yourself before coming.
On the issue of security, is income required to buy the instruments that are used to keep the security?
Well, that is very easy. As long as we have gender equality in the area, security will be highly promoted. Why? Because all genders are catered for and they are balanced. No one will rise against that.
According to gender status quo in Uganda currently, how far should the women be empowered or creating gender equality?
Of course, women are already empowered by the current government or by the proposals.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning to you all. Resolved. When attempting to create a more harmonious society, this House believes that gender is a more important factor than class or income. The first farmer comes and says that gender equality, yes. But he talks of different colors, he talks of different races, he talks of, if it's gender equality, aren't you trying to balance male or female? Why are you bringing colors? Why are you bringing racism? That's not what we are here to talk about. And as the negators, we are here to tell you that however much you try to balance the gender, there will never be equality. There will never be a harmonious society where class or income is not favored. You said that class is based on wealth, which we agree with, because someone's class is the stratification stratification based on his financial strength. So, if you come and tell us that you're promoting gender equality, you agree with us that yes, gender equality is there. My fellow negator asked you, how far do you want the women to be empowered? The women have been empowered, my dear judge. The Prime Minister, she's a woman. The Minister of Trade, she's a woman. The Prime Minister, she's a woman. The Vice President, she's a woman. Rebecca Kadaga, very influential. Jennifer Musisi, how much more do you want the women to be empowered, my dear judge? I'm here to tell you that however much they balance the gender, which they have tried to do, it will never ever lead to a more harmonious society if they are not to consider income and class as the more important factor. Now, if you say that If you say that you as the standing government, you're here to promote gender equality, we asked you, what problem are you here to solve? You can't tell us that you're here for gender equality, but yet you can't tell us the problem which you're trying to solve. We're here to tell you that however much the society is harmonious, yes, because in the motion it states we are attempting to create a more harmonious society. The society is harmonious. They're living they're trying to paint that picture of harmonious societies, but the society does not meet our expectations of a harmonious society. There is still that space left. There is that loophole. They don't have the perfect depiction of a harmonious society. Why don't they have this? Why don't they have the best form of a harmonious society that is supposed to be there? This is because there are other problems like poverty, of which gender equality can never solve poverty. Do you agree? Of course there's poverty in the society, yes. How will gender equality solve poverty? There is no way. The only solution to gender equality, the only solution to poverty that we have is income and class, is empowering people through income and class. There's poverty, there is hunger, there is that big gap between the poor and the rich. Our dear judge, there is the poor and there are the rich. What we are trying to do is bridge that gap to this and that, make it as small as possible to create that more harmonious society that we want. Because if you're to say gender and income, if you're to say gender equality, there's the poor and there's the rich. And there's a man and there's a woman living in their house hungry, our dear judge. The man is hungry, he doesn't have income. The woman is hungry, she doesn't have income. The children can't go to school because there is no income. How is that leading to harmony? Yet they're all looking at each other thinking you're worthless because you don't have money, you're worthless because you can't work. How can you expect this gap to be bridged? Perhaps we want to bring that gap to the smallest point to create a harmonious society, which is where we are here for. The gender equality they're talking about can never, ever bridge that gap. The gender equality will never lead to that more harmonious society that we want. The gender equality cannot solve the conflicts between men and women. The gender equality cannot solve poverty. My fellow speakers will come and talk about why gender equality cannot solve the problem of poverty. They're here to tell you that the only solution to these problems of poverty, hunger, the gap between the poor and the rich is income and class empowerment. This is the only solution, the only way we can try and create and lead to a more harmonious society, which is what we are for. And gender equality is not the solution to that. I rest my case, my dear judge.
My first question. My first Prime Minister, he talked about the racism and colors. And you came and justified the fact, what is gender? You don't know gender. Some other thing to talk about, gender is a fact of being male or female. And then being male or female, we are divided in races. He's Mganda, I'm Mnyoro, he's Mtoro. Isn't that being racism? So you talked about the space of bridging a gap between the poor and the rich. Bridging a gap, should you build a harmonious society over being so extravagant?
Yes, that's what we want.
It's
want a
really so
harmonious
extravagant to say. I'm calling it extravagant in brackets because you're not making any point.
We want to
How
bridge
can
the
you
gap.
bridge the gap between the poor and the rich when the poor sit in Mapera and the rich are there in Katanga?
That's why we want the harmonious
Seriously,
society.
there is no way we can create a more harmonious society using class or income. Some other point to put across, please. You talked about the ministries, the ministers like Kadaga. We see ministers like Honorable. Isn't that gender equality that is bringing over peace
Then
and
how
harmonious
far
society?
do you want them to be empowered?
Really, Pano, he's misleading the audience. I wouldn't see anybody. I wouldn't look upon anybody misleading my fellow audience, and I just look upon it. Some other question, please. You haven't answered any question. Yet
You
I've
haven't
asked
asked any
very
question.
simple questions. Some other question to be asked to you, please. How can poverty be perused out of the generation using income and class?
If a poor man is given money, he has that urge. He becomes what? He
My
stops
bro,
the conflict.
I don't advise anything like stammering in a debate. Some other thing we can go by. Please, if you want to bridge a gap between the poor and the rich using your income, according... Thank you so much, Pano.
Resolved, when attempting to create a more harmonious society, this House believes that gender is a more important factor than class or income. We as the farmers are here to support the resolution. My fellow farmer came and told us about gender equality, and I don't know why you've been criticizing poverty over here. Then we are here to talk about unity. How does unity bring about gender? So when we are in a society, I believe we are in Nabisunsa Girls, and it is a single-sex school, of course, and it has male teachers. Unity here is between the females, the girls in the school, and the male teachers who are available. Then I'm going to talk about specialization as a point we are the farmers have come to put across. Specialization, what am I putting across? Specialization comes about in labor. For example, in cosmetics, I'm not going to find a man doing makeup. I'm not going to find a woman building, because cosmetics is done by the females, and to the males.
The second farmer continues with their lives. You say that men cannot wear makeup, and women are not
Why
allowed
would you wear
to-
makeup in your
asking the
male?
questions here, please.
Yes, continue.
Do you believe that there are women who work in construction sites?
It's meant for male. That is what I was
yes
trying
or
to
no
put
question,
across.
please. Do you believe there are women who work in construction sites?
I hope I've answered you very well.
You haven't answered. Thank you. Do you believe that there's poverty in Karamoja?
Yes, I believe.
Thank you. Do you believe that income can solve that poverty?
It's not relevant to the
Do
resolution.
you believe that income can
It
solve
is
that
not
poverty?
relevant to the resolution.
Has Honorable Rebecca Kadaga been empowered? Is Rebecca Kadaga an empowered woman? Does she feel the inequality?
She is a female, and
Does
she's
she feel
portraying.
the inequality?
I hope you know she helps the
Does she
the
feel
females.
the inequality?
Does she feel the what?
The inequality that you're talking about?
Why would she?
Of course, thank you. You talk of men wearing cosmetics, yes?
Yes, I did.
Do you expect the men to wear cosmetics?
You are a male. Why would you wear cosmetics, for God's sake?
Is gender equality the greatest challenge?
When you
in
have the
family
right
conflict?
questions for me, please
I'm
call
asking
me.
the
Thank
questions,
you.
please.
When attempting to create a more harmonious society, this House believes that gender is a more important factor than income or class. As team negators, we are here to negate this motion because of the following. First, my precurrent speaker asks the proposers if they believe that there are women who are working in construction sites, and clearly they fail to answer. We've seen women today going on to undertake construction courses, and we've seen them. We've seen women who are actually engineers. In roads, we've seen women constructing roads. Dear judges, I hope everyone in this house has seen women going on to take on courses of construction. And even if we are to go to a construction school right now, we'll find them there. 2, we ask her if she believes that gender equality is the biggest problem in Uganda, as they said the parameters. And clearly, she has no answer. So we took the silence for being a no. And then we came and told them. They came and defined a more harmonious society as one where there is no disagreement, where everyone is living in agreement with one another. We asked them if there is gender equality, and they agreed. We asked them how far do these women want to be empowered. They set parameters as Uganda, and in Uganda, the vice president is a female. The prime minister is a female. The former speaker of parliament was female, and she is so influential today. That means that there is gender equality already. That, I think they also agree. So, why do we come and say we should take income or class as a more important factor than gender? First, they define gender as the state of being male or female. Later, they begin bringing in race, skin, color. How does that bring about gender inequality? We've seen both men and women being segregated for their races. That means gender equality is not the problem. The problem is actually income. No man or woman would disrespect another person simply because they don't share gender. If we are equal, no one can disrespect you. I'll give an assumption. In Uganda, Speaker Rebecca Kadaga was the former Speaker of Parliament. That they agree. Today, former Speaker actually, is so respected despite leaving her position. That means, why was she working? For income. She created an inspiration for the young. She was working for income, not gender. Gender equality is there in Uganda. How far do women and men need to be empowered? Here we come with a possible solution: income and class equality. By that, we don't mean that we shall put everyone at the same level, no. We just want to narrow the gap between the classes and the income. With that, we shall have solved the problems of poverty, gender discrimination.
POI.
Because no one can come and disrespect a woman simply because they're a woman. If I have income, if we are the same rate, if you're not so better than me in income, how much you earn is not much more than what I earn, then how can you disrespect me? That is what a more harmonious society is about. They gave us the definition and we agreed. No disagreement. Why would we argue if we have the same income? If we share a class, why would we argue? Gender does not put food on the table. Income does. If everyone is earning, it will kill the dependence. It will promote mutual respect. And that kills the disagreement.
Well, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. I really appreciate that you're a great lady who has risen up from majority to speak. Well, you talked about the speaker. Who was the pre-current speaker? Please, let's be straight to point. Who was the pre-current speaker?
Speaker Rebecca Kadaga.
Rebecca Kadaga, thank you. Who is the current?
Jacob
Olanya. As the current government, we try to put another speaker in position. That's gender equality. Another question. Would you love to be segregated as a woman? Yes or no?
First, allow me to
Would you love to be segregated as a woman? This is an objective question. Please, yes or no? You don't know. Well, I'm here to inform you.
Yes.
Okay, let me ease for you. Do you work at a construction site, you personally? Yes or no?
My mother does.
Yes or no? You personally, do you work at the construction site?
I'm a student.
Well, you are a student. I would love to inform you that we are talking about majority over minority. Finally, do you know how worth the food being thrown away on dustbins every day in Uganda? You know it or you don't?
I do.
Yet you're a rich person, but you don't. You're more worried of securing your bags of cash, but not securing for the future of our next generation. Please, style up. And finally, thank you so much. for supporting us by giving our only point that we gave. Please also try to rise up with your own points that cater for your side. Otherwise, I will welcome you to our side. Thank you so much. Please, may you take your seat.
And I'll also thank you for agreeing that there is gender equality, meaning the only thin line between people now is income inequality.
Well, I will have to inform you before you go. Don't get scared because I'm someone who promotes gender equality. Come.
And so do you,
I'm completing. Okay, I'm completing. Please, are you feeling free being segregated? For example, we have our lady and we accept you also brought up a lady, not so? We love that and it's very okay. But look at the way we promoted equality in terms of dressing. Do you love being segregated, yes or no?
No.
No, thank you for supporting me. I rest my case.
If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend the whole of its life thinking that it's stupid. So, in the same way, if you judge a woman by her ability to ride wheelbarrows, she will spend the rest of her life thinking that she is weak. It's the same point that we, as the farmers, want to put across by gender equality. According to science, one of the importance of the liver is detoxification. By detoxification is removing all the impurities from the body. So it's the same way I've come as a liver in this debate because it has been fully detoxified by the so-called negators, which I won't allow. The first speaker came here and lied to us that you told us that the minister Nabanja, by the way, us as the government, we are caring over majority, over minority. So there is no way you can base over Speaker Kadaga to judge the whole girl sitting here. There is no way you can base on Speaker Kadaga to judge all the community that is sitting here. There is no way. There is strictly no way. And I won't accept that as a farmer. Some other point that you people brought about, you negated our point of cosmetics. You hear a point, hear a question. The man seriously asked, do I apply cosmetics? What's the answer? Of course, no. But what does your woman apply? Doesn't she do so if you have one? And if you don't have one, what does your mother apply? So, do things that are used by women, should they be made by men? So that's the specialization of labor that we are bringing right now. It's the same way we want the women to do things that they are going to be beneficial in. And there is no way you can say that a woman who is working at a construction site should be judged over all this majority. I see ministers in here. I see speakers in here. I see many important people in here. So there is no way you can judge that rotten tomato to rot all the basket. No way. Please, I started with a statement. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend the whole of its life thinking that it's stupid. Some other quote that I can put across, please. I'm going to Mr. Quotes in quotes. Mr. Quotes in quotes. One wise man said that, negators, this is to you. A wise man said that, never argue with a frog near mud. Why? It will dip you in mud and beat you by experience. It's the same way these negators are trying to put us into arguments that are strictly off the motion. They are bringing a gap that they want to bridge a gap. They want the so-called gap. What's the gap? It's very big. It cannot be bridged by class or income. It can only be bridged by gender inequality. It's only gender equality that can peruse all those problems out of our population. Panel, I want to inform these people that 76% of the family breakups that were in this COVID era is because of the difference in income levels. So if we come up with such a suggestion that we want to judge class and income to be a way of creating a harmonious society, there is really no way. So negators, I request that the next person doesn't support our motion but negates against it. Please, I just request as the government speaker. And then some other person came about with the issue of racism and then segregation in tribes. Thank you so much, panel. I rest my case.
He speaks of never playing with a frog because it will draw you to the mud and most likely deaden you. And now we are wondering if somebody is already in mud, do you really even need to draw him to the mud where he is already in? Our dear judge, in today's resolution, we are very, very disappointed with the affirmatives, whereby they come and actually agree that there is no harmony in the society. And then our today's resolution was, if there is no harmony, gender equality and income or class, which one is more important? Now, they totally agree. For the first case, they agree that actually there is gender equality in Uganda. They totally agree that there is gender equality whereby most women are empowered. But what are we seeing, dear judges? As we already told you that the women are already empowered. But what's the problem currently? They are already empowered, but there is no harmony. It means that these people who are already, or these people where there is gender equality already, women being already in those big offices, but there is no harmony, we should look for an alternative. That's why you come up and say that actually these people who are already there, we need empowerment, we need income equality between the two. They come up and say there's a problem of there is no harmony in the society. And we go on and ask them, which problem are you trying to solve? They totally don't know even the problem they are trying to solve. Now, in our today's resolution, most we have been clashing on gender equality and income or class. Now, first of all, they agree that there is gender equality in Uganda, agreeing that it is already there, but there is no harmony. They totally agree on that. There is gender equality, but there is no harmony, as they already declared. So what are we saying? If there's gender equality and there is no harmony, but then currently there is no income equality. So therefore, it is more important to try the income equality so that we can promote harmony in our society. Now they go on and say that currently they are trying to promote unity by creating gender equality. But then they agree that there is gender equality. Now what are you trying to solve if it's not there? If there's a solution but the problem has persisted, it means that it is not important in creating harmony, as we already showed you. They go on and talk of specialization. They say they are trying to put women in these sites, construction sites and elsewhere, so that there is harmony. But what are we seeing? These women actually are already there. They are already in those construction sites, but there is no harmony. What do we need? We need to empower these women. We need to create income equality between these two people so that there is harmony in the society. Then we go on and speak of empowerment. Empowering the women, then bridging the gap. Now, we are very glad that they came up and did not disagree with any of our views, implying that they totally agree that there is no income inequality and therefore it is required. Then they go on and remain basing on examples of Kadaga and cosmetics. But those are mere examples. You don't come up to tackle our arguments. Instead, they even fail to answer the questions. She goes and sits, and at the end of it all, they come up with POIs. I'm glad they have not yet raised NPOI. We are in Kalpopa. Then another case, they go on and say, they ask who is the current speaker of Uganda and who is the pre-current. Now we have seen that already there's gender equality. One was a male and now it's a woman, but there's no harmony. So meaning that their thing has failed to work. We should try income equality. Then they go on and say, would you segregate? They talk of our debater that we have a girl and they have a girl, meaning there is gender equality, but there is no harmony. Therefore, we should empower these people so that they are on the same phase, they balance, and we shall have the equality. Now we go on and declare that there are problems like poverty in the society. The only solution to such problems is income equality. If there is income equality between these two people, all the problems will be solved because gender that is already there has failed to work. I rest my case.